right, let's dive right in. In the world of online gaming, when you launch a new server, it is a flat-out sprint from the moment it goes live. Every leader is gunning for that explosive growth, that early dominance. And there's a secret weapon for that, a high-stakes strategy that involves a very special kind of player. Today, we're breaking down that exact strategy, the jumper approach. And that really brings us to the million-dollar question every new server leader has to ask. Who are these jumpers? And maybe more importantly, how in the world do you know which ones you can actually trust? Getting this right is everything. It's the line between a server that thrives and one that just fizzles out. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to define what jumpers even are. Then, we'll get into the huge risks and rewards they bring to the table. After that, it's all about the practical stuff, how to vet them, the classic mistakes to avoid, and finally, we'll touch on a pretty interesting solution proposed in the source material. Okay, let's get straight to it. What exactly are we talking about when we use the word jumpers? Well, think of them as the potential foundation for a server that's built to last and to win. Here's the basic idea, and it's pretty clever. A jumper doesn't start from scratch on day one with everybody else. Nope. They start an account on an older, established server. Why? To farm resources, gain power, and stack up all sorts of advantages. Then, when a brand new server opens, they jump that preloaded account over, landing them miles ahead of every single true beginner. It's a massive head start. So why is a good jumper such a game changer? It really comes down to three things. First, you get their experience. These players know the game inside and out. No hand-holding needed. Second, you get their power. They show up on day one with a strength that would take a normal player weeks, if not months, to build. And third, activity. These are dedicated players. They guarantee you have a living, breathing core community from the second the server lights up. But here is the catch, and it is a big one. This whole strategy isn't a sure thing. It is absolutely a high-stakes gamble, because for every amazing jumper you recruit, there's the risk of bringing in someone who could tear your new community apart from the inside. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Look at the reward column. You supercharge your growth, you import veteran knowledge, you get guaranteed activity. Amazing, right? But then you look at the risk column. A jumper could turn into a dictator trying to run the whole show. They could literally be a spy for a rival group, or they could just be a rogue player who loves creating drama. So the real question is, how do you get all the good stuff without inviting in a server killer? So how do you actually manage this? The key isn't to just avoid jumpers altogether. It's to vet them, and vet them well. This is your playbook for sorting the true builders from the potential wrecking balls. The source material recommends a really solid two-step process. First things first, get organized. You need a dedicated Discord server. This is more than just a place to chat. It's your command center. It's where you make announcements and, critically, where you collect information. And that flows right into step two. You have to systematically gather key intel on every single person who wants to join before they ever set foot in your server. And we're not talking about their favorite color here. According to the source, these 4 pieces of info are absolutely non-negotiable. You need their lord power and their strongest troops power to see if they're as strong as they claim. You need their current server and their in-game name so you can do a little digging, see if they have a reputation as a troublemaker. This data is your first and best line of defense. Okay, so you've got a process. Great. But you also have to sidestep the common traps that so many leaders fall into. Let's look at 4 big mistakes that can completely sink your recruitment efforts before you even get started. These are the 4 horsemen of a bad jumper project. First, that desperate feeling where you accept anyone and everyone just to make your numbers look good. A classic quality over quantity mistake. Second, just getting lazy and skipping those background checks. Huge mistake. Third, and this one is subtle but important, not even having a quick friendly chat with them. You need to know if their vibe even matches your communities. And finally, forgetting about the little guys. Getting so focused on jumpers that you don't nurture the brand new organic players who are the true future of your server. You know, hearing all this, it's pretty clear this is a complex and risky business. So the source we're looking at actually proposes a completely different path. What if you brought in the professionals? The idea here is really simple. You outsource it. Instead of a server leader spending endless hours trying to vet hundreds of random applicants, you could use an agency that does this for a living. It basically takes the whole headache of recruitment off your plate and gives it to a dedicated team. Specifically, the source mentions the Kyo Army Clan Jump Agency. and lays out what they claim to do. They say they provide trusted players who've already been vetted, they bring organization to the whole process, and at the end of the day, they deliver a squad of powerful, ready-to-go jumpers straight to your server. When you strip it all away, everything we've talked about today comes down to this one simple, powerful statement from the source. It's so true. The quality of your very first players, your jumpers, directly determines if your server has what it takes to compete, to thrive, and to win. And so that's the final question I want to leave you with. When you're planning your next server, or even just looking at the one you're in now, ask yourself seriously, is the foundation built to win? Is it made of carefully chosen solid stone? Or are you just kind of building it on sand and hoping for the best? Because the answer to that question will probably decide your server's entire future.